Vanguard Lookout. So our vanilla 1-4 boy finally gets some text. 2 costs 1-4. It's still an elite. When I'm summoned, draw a follower if your opponent has more units. This is an interesting one. So yeah, okay. I guess they're leaning more into the lookout part of his card name because he didn't do anything in regards to looking out before. All right, in terms of like a competitively, like on one hand, a 2-cost card with just some stats that like draws you a card is actually pretty decent.
Yeah.
So it's like even if you top deck this later in the game, like you just drop this and then roll the dice and hopefully you get something good. It's like roll the dice. Oh yeah, sweet. We got like Chifri or some shit. Drop her down or like yeah. Yeah, the fact that your opponent has to have more dudes than you, as opposed to equal amount of dudes than you, makes it a little bit more cumbersome to play this card, right? Because you can't drop this early on, or like you get no value dropping this card early on if unless your opponent plays a 1 and a 2, or plays 2 1s or whatever, right?
Unless they have the the open on turn 2, and they play a dude on turn 1. You don't play anyone turn 1, then they play a dude on turn 2, and then you drop this guy. You get to draw.
Yeah. But the thing is, most of the time, if your opponent plays a 1-on-1 on their turn 2, they will just open attack with the 1. Yeah. But yeah, okay. But he's actually not bad, and he's an elite as well. So I guess if you get like
the blacksmith,
the blacksmith, he becomes like a 2/5 and draws some cards and shit. The thing is Demacia is kind of spammy. Like gets dude, so it's going to seem really hard to trigger off this effect. Yeah. So it's not bad. Its effect is probably pretty balanced actually when you think about it, because it's like the situations where you can get this card's effect are a little bit narrow, but you can play around it. His stat line is fine. It's not like he's like a 1-2 or something, which means it's actually decent because the 2 cost like 1-4 that potentially draws you a card is pretty good actually.
A lot of 2-cost units have like a 2-3 or a 3-2 stat line, and then a skill. So it's kind of got the same numbers and like quote unquote, like he's got that level, that 2-mana power level. I guess when they made Vanguard Lookout, I think they were expecting a bit more from the elite tag.
Yeah.
Than actually.
Well, Vanguard Lookout wasn't an elite early on, I don't think.
No? Okay.
No, they buffed it in one of those like patches where they were just buffing random cards. Oh. Yeah, they gave this guy elite. So he wasn't originally elite, I don't think.
It had to be before me. But funny thing about this guy, as of like his vanilla version, is that he has the same stats and cost as Horny Toad. But Horny Toad has all the extra effects, so it does seem a bit...
Isn't it Fawny Toad?
Yeah, it is, I know.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I would remember if it was called Horny Toad.
Yeah, but anyway, there's a card that has the same stat line, but does have like an effect, and it's a 2-parter effect. Whereas all this guy really had going for him was elite. So I did kind of I liked the idea.
Yeah.
Even though I don't you probably don't realistically see this guy getting dropped on turn 2 ever. Because Demacia runs like 5 or 6 1-drops in its normal deck. Between like Bird and Cythria, turn 1.
Yeah. I feel Cythria is kind of optional, depending on what the metagame's like, if you need that early game presence or not. Yeah, but when you think about Vanguard, look at that draw, it gets you a card. Other cards that get you a card are all the 2-1 stat line. So you got the Merchant, and you've got the Freljord one. They're both 2-1s. So the fact that this guy has 4 health is really good. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm surprised it probably wouldn't have even been that overpowered if they gave him Scout as well. He's a lookout man. He should have scout. He should be like pinging in.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So this card was made by Prawnyman. And he said in the post that his original idea was actually to have this guy create a mobilize.
Okay.
Yeah, which also could have been a pretty interesting idea. But I think I don't know, is 2 a bit too cheap for this guy to be creating a mobilize?
Yeah. Maybe if it had some sort of trigger on it, like if he blocks or something. Yeah. Like the first time this card blocks, create a mobilize or something.
Would he have to survive the block like Brown?
I don't know, but like yeah. Yeah, like there's interesting ways to like get it to trigger off because thematically the lookout is like when your opponent is starting to do stuff, or when your opponent's attacking, or if your opponent's got guys, then yeah. So it, like, I'm not sure the mobilize thing could work. Yeah, so it's just like a cheap early game card, yeah. So
cool.
It's fine, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.